ICENET. Dynasties live here.
The Whalers are coming off the 4-3 win over Winnipeg at home on Wednesday night. They've won 3 of their last 4 as we're underway. Randy Wood for the Islanders backhands the puck in. Pat LaFontaine centers, and the pass is swept away by Steve Weeks. Alan Kerr, as we've got an injured Whaler down behind the net. As we're trying to see who that is, I believe it's Randy Ladouceur.
And it's obvious, Rick, right now he seems to have a left knee problem, and he's in pain.
We better
check and
Woodcock is leaning in there. The head trainer, Tommy Woodcock, checking out Lindsey Carson, who started on left wing with Ron Francis and John Anderson on that line.
Let's watch what happens, Rick, as the Islanders come right at and you see Carson coming back with his man. Look at his left leg. Wow, you can see it right there. And hopefully, the best thing that can happen is it's just a bruise. It did get twisted under him, but maybe just the impact of his knee hitting the boards. But he is in some pain.
And we certainly hope he's all right for his sake and the team's as well, because he's been playing very well for the Whalers.
He's been playing excellent hockey, Rick, and that was just a good example right there. He had his man all the way back to behind the Whaler net. You see Larry Plow looking on with some concern. Hopefully, as I said, Rick, it was just the fact of the blow of the knee hitting the boards and not a twist. Well, he is in some sort of a limp, but he's a tough guy, Lindsey. All right, that's good.
He's trying to stretch that leg out, and looks like he's going to the bench. Steve Weeks gets the call and goal for the Whalers tonight. He comes in with a 3.36 goals against average, 6-5-2 his record. He's 2-1 against the Islanders here at Nassau Coliseum. Kelly Hrudey starts for the Islanders, 3.58 his goals against. He's 16-12-4 in 35 appearances.
He got off to a great start this year, Rick, Kelly Hrudey, but he's slipped of late. I'm talking to the color analyst on the Islander broadcast. He says one of the reasons Kelly Hrudey is suffering is because his defense is suffering. Last year and at the early this year, he was having all perimeter shots from the angles, but all of a sudden the shots started coming from in front of the net. And I don't care who you are, if they come from in front of the net from 10 feet, you're in a little trouble.
Now, Hrudey got off to a great start, and certainly the last 2 months, things haven't gone his way for that reason, and Eddie Westphal points out, and perhaps some others as well. John Anderson throws the puck in as Sylvain Turgeon takes Carson's spot on left wing. John Anderson tries to get the puck to Ron Francis. It's cleared away by Thomas Janssen, and Randy Wood moves it ahead. It's off Sheehy's stick, and it bounces to Pat LaFontaine, and it just rolled on him. Alan Kerr with his pass, forked out to center by Turgeon. Randy Wood is held up by Sheehy. LaFontaine Dipsy doodles against Sheehy, now steps away from Anderson with a pass in for Kerr. Kerry Wilson takes him to the boards, and Sheehy lifts it out to the point. That is Potvin, couldn't keep it in. Potvin shoots it into the Whalers zone as Weeks leaves it there for Sheehy. Out for Stu Gavin, it's taken away by Brent Sutter to Derek King. King against Sheehy, can't get a shot away. He's bumped by Gavin. Torrey Robertson with a puck, and he hands it to Kerry Wilson. Sutter works on him. And as Potvin gave it up to Robertson. Back to Ladouceur. Wrist shot through a screen is wide. Robertson after that loose puck. Brent Sutter gathers it in for the Islanders out on right wing beyond the reach of Brad Lauer. Ladouceur over to Samuelson. He just kept it away from Lauer. Ladouceur gives the puck to Robertson. Ulf Samuelson can't connect with Stu Gavin. It's played by rookie Jeff Finley off the boards, and Samuelson regains it. He gives it to Ladouceur. We've played nearly 2 minutes of scoreless hockey here at the Nassau Coliseum. The Whalers and the Islanders in their second matchup of the season. Of course, they meet in Hartford at the Civic Center tomorrow night at 7. Dean Evison works the puck free. Tippett struggles to get to it, but Rudy clears it away. Derek King gives it to Brian Trottier. Weeks tries to get it away from Mikko Makela. Makela's pass is blocked by Randy Ladouceur. Tippett sweeps it out to center.
Look, this is an interesting line. Tippett, Evison, and Dineen going against Trottier. Makela and Gilbert, the big line for the Gilbert, the big line for the Islanders. One of the big lines, anyway.
Sylvain Kete holds up the rush as Dave Babbage is still sidelined with that knee injury. It's a possibility, I guess, he could play tomorrow night. But he is sidelined along with Ray Ferraro and Mark Reeds for this one. Here's the pass ahead for Trottier. Cote is back. Makela fakes the shot, tries to step around Quenneville. Brent Peterson helps out defensively. Turgeon had it batted away by Conroy. Makela centers, and it hit Peterson's stick. It's dug away from Makela. The pass hit Cote's stick, and out comes Kevin Dineen. Kevin starts it in against Thomas Janssen. Janssen gets it away to Greg Gilbert ahead for Pat LaFontaine. Nice move as he tries to cut in on Sheehy. Neal gets it away to Scott Kleinendorst. Out for Dineen. Whalers go for a line change. And Lindsey Carson is back in action as he joins Francis and Anderson on that line. Anderson steals the outlet, walks in across to Francis. Carson shoots, and it's deflected by Potvin up into the crowd. 16-16 remaining in the opening period. The Whalers and the Islanders are scoreless.
We're looking at Lindsey Carson, who's come back after that scare in the early of the game, but he gets a great chance here. Good play by Anderson, keeping the puck in over to Ronnie Francis, and he leaves it right for Carson. But look at the way Dennis Potvin reacted. He just got the stick out and deflected in the stands. That was a perfect play, and it took the knowledge of a veteran like Potvin to beat that play.
That certainly would have taken some of the sting out of that left knee.
You get those opportunities but 2 or 3 times a year. That was a beauty.
Well, you talk about the quality of shots against the Islanders. You can't get much closer to the net and from a better angle than that one. But Potvin saved the day for the Islanders as Ken Leiter backhands the puck right to Scott Kleinendorst. He's checked by Dale Henry. Potvin hurries back, moves it around to rookie Mick Vukota just up from Springfield. He was among the penalty minute leaders in the American League at the time of his recall at 347 minutes. And rugged Dale Henry goes to the corner with Neil Sheehy. Vukota throws an elbow. Francis answers with one back. Carson gets in there. And our linesmen Wayne Bonney and Kevin Collins working with referee Bill McCreary tonight. Calm everybody down.
Now we're seeing Vukota at his best. What do you have, 350 minutes in the American League? I think he got an assist too, but he just took 2 shots there. He looks like a tough boy.
Ronnie Francis closing in on 550 points in his career. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Hartford Whalers Hockey Club and is intended solely for the private non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Hartford Whalers Hockey Club is prohibited. Whalers have Kerry Wilson out for the face-off. Scott Kleinendorst is going off to the dressing room, exiting right near that face-off area with Tommy Woodcock.
Rick, this looks like the way he's walking off is shoulder or a wrist.
Things not starting well as far as possible injuries for the Whalers. We're happy to see Carson back in action, but we'll try to keep you posted on whether Kleinendorf can return or not, as we're in a scoreless tie. The first 4.5 minutes. Stu Gavin shoots the puck in. Gerald Didick gets back for it. Wilson's in on the puck. Back out to Ladouceur. It hops over Wilson's stick. Torrey Robertson's there for it. He battles with Brad Lauer. And Robertson decks him with a check. Didick tries to shovel it along to Brent Sutter. Gavin steps into him. Kerry Wilson joins the battle. Didick will try the other side, and Samuelson pinches in against Derek King. King sees that, and the Islanders having some difficulty in getting out. Finally move it out as Brent Sutter gives the puck to King, and the play is offside as Lauer just beat it at the bottom of your screen.
Rick, the Whalers are working very hard and they're skating. They seem to have their legs under them, but that last series they got 3 of their forwards caught, and the defenseman decided to pinch in, which was Ulf Samuelsson. And you really shouldn't pinch in unless your third guy is deep. And they had 3 of their whole forward line was behind the net almost, and therefore you have to back off. But Ulf did adjust and get back, but it was a 3-on-2. The Whalers in this type of game right now is in their favor. You know, the Islanders aren't going crazy or anything like that. They need the third guy very high.
Janssen gives the puck to Conroyd. Tries to get it out. Dave Tippett, who's had his helmet knocked off, gives the puck in deep. McDermott centers, and it's deflected away. Conroyd bats it ahead for LaFontaine. He tries to shoot it in. Quenneville knocks it away, and out of the zone it's played back in, and Cote moves it ahead to Paul McDermott. Rudy bats it away. It's picked up by Tippett, out to Cote, across to McDermott. The pass was behind him, and Randy Wood, the former Yale star, leads it too far into the Whaler zone, and Cote is back icing as the call against the Islanders. 13:58 to go in the first period. We have no score.
That it is a shoulder. Hopefully it's not serious, and just the jarring stung them somewhat.
Brent Peterson leans in for the faceoff as Trottier controls it. Ken Leiter with no score in this game. We're just beyond the 6-minute mark. Leiter gives the puck to Dennis Potvin, the great veteran, with the outlet knocked down. Trottier struggles to get it over to Greg Gilbert. Trottier now maneuvers away from Peterson. Makela sends it behind the net. It's picked up there by Gilbert. Mikko Makela walks in front. Shooting save by Weeks. Trottier in the rebound, and Weeks covered it up as it just slid off Trottier's stick.
Well, not only a great save by Weeks on the original shot, Rick, but a great play to take the puck off Trottier. The Trottier line off. And obviously, Rick, from just reading the papers and everything, this is their big line at the moment.
Sylvain Cote moves the puck ahead for Carson. The Islanders own the only 3 shots on net thus far. Whalers' best opportunity, you'll remember, was deflected out of play. Finally, Rudy handles the puck. He'll hang on to it with Anderson in the vicinity.
Is that the right grammar, Rick?
It was perfect, Jerry. Just perfect. Whalers controlled it. Back of the point, Cote's shot. Dribbles off his stick. And it's poked ahead and out to center by Dale Henry. Ladouceur comes over to play it. Jeff Finley, who played junior with Glenn Wesley of the Bruins at Portland last year, just out of junior and just up from Springfield of the American League. He's on defense with Gerald Didick, who's having trouble right now with Ronnie Francis. And Francis steals, gives it to Robertson, shooting and a save by Rudy. Mick Vukota works the puck away. Robertson was fouled out in front. I guess you could say we've got an Islander penalty upcoming as Torrey was tripped, and the Islanders will take the first penalty of the hockey game. 12 Whalers in the power play, 12th best in the league, just under 19% efficiency with 68 goals. The Islanders have been suffering killing penalties. They're only 19th best, allowing 75 goals and under 76% efficiency. So the Whalers will try to take advantage here. Wilson shoots it in as Deneen hustles in for it, leaves it for Kerry Wilson, out to Samuelson, across to Francis. Ulfie moves it to John Anderson. Francis gives it to Samuelson. He'll shoot, and it's deflected by defenseman Ken Leiter up into the crowd.
Rick, these end zones at the Nassau Coliseum are big, and it gives you a lot of room to manipulate the puck. But what the Islanders are doing right now is they're just condensing their box a little bit and allowing the Whalers to have the puck on the outside. But with all the room in there, you're farther out than you think. What you have to get some traffic in the middle, right, to confuse the Islander defense and the scheme they're using right now. They just, something's got to happen, because the Islanders will give you the puck on the outside all day. I mean, I can remember years ago when the Islanders had their great players, and they just started skating and moving around. All of a sudden, there's Bossy all by himself, which is a scary thought.
It sure is. And of course, Bossy has been out with a recurring back trouble. Doesn't expect to come back this season. Dineen leaves the puck to Wilson, back to Francis. Wilson with a pass deflected by Diddick. It bounces to Kevin Dineen. His older brother Gord is not in the Islander lineup. He's among the injured for this one, as Wilson sends it out to John Anderson. He'll let it go, and it was blocked by Steve Conroy. The puck is cleared by Makela, and we're down to 48 seconds remaining on the Henry tripping call.
45, boys, 45.
Francis carries it out. He's joined by Evison and Gavin. Turgeon works up front with them. Gavin shoots, and it's blocked by Dennis Potvin. The Whalers keep it in as Francis moves it to Turgeon, snapping one off just wide. Alan Kerr tries to get it out, and does, as he sends it ahead to hustling Bob Bassett. 20 seconds to go with a power play. Under 11 minutes remaining in the first period. Still no score, as Sylvain Turgeon gives the puck to Gavin. Diddick's the first man back, and he sails it by Ulf Samuelsson and down the ice.
Well, the Islanders did a pretty good job in killing this penalty, even though the Whalers had, I'd say a minute of control in their zone, but they were very disciplined and conservative in holding that the box.
Cote couldn't keep it in, and Weeks directs some traffic on this race for the puck. Quenneville and Derek King, and apparently King got there first. Dean Evison moves it across to Turgeon. He's checked by Leiter. Tell you, Jerry, if the Islander defense was having problems earlier, they certainly look in pretty good form tonight to start off.
They have been one of the best defensive teams in their zone for years and years, and even though they have a bunch of younger players out there, they still got the Potvin, a guy who can make the plays and knows where to be. They've always been excellent in their end.
Randy, let us.
I'm just going to say, Rick, Al Arbor's done a great job in developing that over the years.
Well, the Whalers are hit with the offside pass whistle. 9:50 to go. First period, no score. And agree with you. The Islanders, as the home club, you like to set the tone and the tempo, and they just haven't been able to do it.
They haven't had really any bit of control during this game, and the Whalers are working hard. This is a super road effort for the Whalers right now.
Rudy handles the long drive by McDermott. Neil Sheehy tees it up. Rudy leaves it for Dennis Potvin. His 15th and final season in the National Hockey League. Puck is worked away by McDermott. Rudy shovels it away to Potvin. He slips it out to Randy Wood. Kerr trying to hit Wood, and he overskates the puck as McDermott. Wrapped up by Potvin. Ronnie Francis just off the Whaler bench. Stick handles and shoots a rolling puck, and the stop is made by Rudy off his blocker. Alan Kerr back for the puck. Francis waits for some help, gets some. Corey Robertson is in there battling, and they freeze the puck for the whistle with 8:55 remaining in the opening period. Islanders controlled it. 7-year man Thomas Janssen paired with Conroy. They've been the most effective defensive pair for Terry Simpson recently anyway. They're a +6 in the last 3 games. Conroy stick handles away from Anderson. Robertson's back. He battles Henry for the puck. Torrey lifts it to Wolf Samuelsson. Gives it to Quenneville. Joel drives it in on goal. Rudy himself shoots it away. He's got Mick Bakota. Samuelsson back. Bakota shoots, and he just sends it wide. Conroy keeps it in, but right to Samuelsson. The Whalers come back 3-on-2. Torrey Robertson maneuvers in. He'll take that shot, and Conroy got a piece of it. Rudy handling the puck well early on here for the Islanders. Here's the lead for Basson. Tries to turn Ladouceur inside out, but that didn't work, and Ulf Samuelsson strides back. His long drive is wide. Greg Gilbert picks up the carom. He's hooked out of there by Sylvain Turgeon. Didick takes over. He angles it to Brian Trottier. Ladouceur steps ahead.
Rick, one thing the Whalers are doing a fine job at is shooting the puck in. They have a purpose for shooting it in. They're keeping it away from Rudy outside of that last one, but they really did a good job at that.
Turgeon pulls the trigger, and it was blocked and cleared out by Trottier. Finley's back for it. Finley playing his 6th game in the National Hockey League. Gilbert pushes the puck through center, and Randy Ladouceur's back for it. Sends it ahead to Stu Gavin. Lets the drive go, and Rudy gets his stick on it. Potvin clears it. Both teams involved in unit changes here. Sylvain Cote looks to move it quickly before the Islander forwards get into the play. The pass is deflected, but Quenneville moves it ahead to tip it. Davey with a big drive. It's handled by Rudy. Lost control of the rebound, but he managed to lean back and find it as we get Lauer and Deneen pushing and shoving in that goal mouth. And Rudy somehow found that puck before the Whalers did. 6:47 to go in the first period. The Whalers and the Islanders are scoreless.
Playing an excellent period, Rick. If they cross that blue line, can't make a play, they're driving it on net. And what we just saw there should really suggest that they drive more at the net.
Quenneville broke his stick on that shot for the point, goes to the bench for New Lumber, and he'll stay in the zone, waiting for Wood, who drives it on net. Weeks with a stop. Sheehy gets rid of the rebound, and Evason sends it down the ice. Here's Rudy way out to play it. Kevin Deneen gives it to Evason. The play is broken up by Pat LaFontaine. He'll backhand it in. Tippett allows the puck to leave the zone. Janssen starts the rush right back in. And the pass is missed by LaFontaine. Deneen grabs it, and he'll just send it down the ice. Whalers get Anderson on with Francis and Turi Robertson. Conroy with a lead. Makela tries to step around Randy Ladouceur, who's faced that type of move twice in the last 2 shifts, and he's handled it both times.
Yeah, they're going to have to try something new on Randy. He's showing them that you're not going to get away with that.
Greg Gilbert on the move, had it poked away by Samuelsson, and Trottier brings the puck in offside.
Rick, for most of the shifts the Islanders had coming at the Whalers, the Whalers have had the 3rd man back, and it's forced the bring to play defense in. It's so wide and big. But if your forwards back, as we look at a couple of young fans, and these 5 o'clock games are great for the young kids to get out, get home in bed early.
They certainly are, as the Islanders drive it in, and Samuelsson moves it along. Didick with a shot, and he sails it over the net. Kurt ducked, and Weeks had to look over his shoulder at the drive coming at him. Here's Evason. Hooks it to Tippett, shooting just wide as Wood takes him down. LaFontaine skips it across to Randy Wood. Wood 1-on-3, and the play is whistled down as he preceded the puck into the zone offside.
Anyway, continuing my thought, Rick, if the 3rd man is back, it'll allow the defense to stay up.
Wilson's line with McDermott and Turgeon move together again. Out there against the Trottier unit as Cote shoots it in. Rudy gets it away. Here's McDermott in front, and it's deflected over the net. Turgeon stole the pass and gave it to McDermott, as out comes Makela. Sheehy is back to touch the puck, and we're going to get an interference call to Paul McDermott away from the play. 4:40.
Didn't get position on Gilbert, and he was forced to bring him down, and he got an interference call.
Potvin drives it in. Whalers, of course, continue as the league's best penalty-killing team. Leiter with a pass over to Pat LaFontaine. Trottier sets up in front against Ulf Samuelsson, and Bill McCreary is going to send them both off for penalties.
It seemed that Trottier wanted that had happened. He got his stick up on Ulf a couple of times. Ulf put his stick up. McCreary called it, and Trottier went right to the box.
Neither one complained, and Trottier was, like you say, is like he was expecting it.
I don't think Coach Simpson's going to say, hey, Brian Trotze, go and take Samuelson off with you. I mean, you send Mickey Vacata out to do that.
Islanders penalty number 19, Brian
There's
Trotze,
Coach Terry
2 minutes
Simpson.
for slashing. Time for the penalties, 15:34. Samuelson
We'll continue 5-on-4. The Islanders with a man advantage, 5th best in the NHL, just under 23% efficiency. So they've maintained their excellence with the man advantage despite the loss of Mike Bossy this year. And Brent Peterson clears the puck down the ice. He and Tippett open up in front of Sheehy and Quenneville. Potvin Leiter, back up LaFontaine, Gilbert, and Mikko Makela. Sheehy gets rid of the puck. Potvin sends it into LaFontaine, gives it to Makela. LaFontaine can't pull the trigger, and it's poked away. Makela gets it out to Leiter. Over to Potvin. Mikko Makela. Over to Potvin, shooting, and it's blocked by Tippett. LaFontaine. Back to Dennis Potvin. Makela's pass is read by Peterson, and the Islanders are forced back to center.
It was the end of a shift for Peterson. He was tired, but if he would have tried to go around and went down, there would have been a penalty, but he went down before he should have.
LaFontaine tries to keep it in. Sheehy chops it away. The Islanders keep it in the zone, though. Brad Lauer, with 28 seconds remaining on the power play for the Islanders, gives it to Derek King. Out to Janssen, takes the shot, and it's blocked out in front by Ladouceur. Lauer to Gerald Diddick. They move it to Janssen. Goalmouth pass is blocked by Neil Sheehy. Diddick takes the drive, and he whistles it wide. 5 seconds to go on the penalty to McDermott. Lauer keeps it in. Ladouceur works along the boards as the Whalers are back to full strength. Samuelson and Trotze continue to serve their slashing penalties as Sheehy sends it out for the waiting Stu Gavin. No score in this game. 2.5 to go, first period. Brent Sutter struggles to get into the zone. He's impeded by Robertson. Derek King circles back. One of the Islanders' first-round picks in '85, held up by Sylvain Cote. He bounces it by Gavin, and the Whalers will complete a change-up as Conroy comes back, allowing for the Islanders to change as well.
Great job, Rick, by the Whaler penalty killers. The Islanders did not get a shot on goal. They had a couple opportunities from some difficult angles and drove the puck wide, but great job by the Whalers.
Whalers have outshot the Islanders 9-4. Dineen with a shot, and that's high and wide. Robertson keeps it in. Dineen gives it to Francis. Kevin circles, shoots. Rooney was there and ready for it. 1.5 minutes remaining in the first period as Dineen tries to start it back in. The Islanders work it away. Bob Bassett is checked by Cote, and he brings the puck in behind Vakota. Offside with no score here late in the first period.
The University of the Hartford Hawks prepare for another ECAC battle, this time against the high-flying Niagara University Purple Eagles. Join Pete Weber and Don Perno on Tuesday, February the 23rd, when the Hawks visit the Gallagher Center to take on Niagara University. February 23rd at 7:30, exclusively on WHCT Channel 18. Go Hawks, go.
Yeah,
they won the other night.
Big win last night over Siena.
Wow. Was that an upset? I'm sure it was.
Yes, it was. They've got a lot of momentum heading toward the end of the season as the ECAC North Atlantic Conference playoff berths are settled.
We say it's an upset, but maybe the Hawks think it wasn't an upset, and that's good.
We look at Derek King. As I mentioned, a first rounder in '85, 21 years old, pretty good size, 6'1", 205, and the Islanders seem to have a lot of players of that ilk, young and big. Gary Wilson in some traffic. King will take on Sheehy, leaves it for Sutter. Sheehy stands in his way as Wilson works it away with under a minute to go in a scoreless first period. Brad Lauer dumps it right back in. Weeks leaves it for Neil Sheehy. Out of the point, Finley keeps it in. Anderson Lifts it out through center ice, and young Finley has to turn and chase it. 40 seconds to go in the period. Weeks deflects the puck. Quenneville catches up to it. Tippett is belted by Trottier, but Evason scoots in there for it. He can't get it out, though. Quenneville can't get the job done. It's deflected into Makela. He hits the post. No goal. It hit the crossbar and did not go in the net. Great opportunity set up by Trottier. Here's Tippett. His pass in front for Gavin. He's well covered there by Makela and Potvin. 4 seconds to go in the period. Evason works against Craig Gilbert. Joel Quenneville handles the puck. And we've got an injured Islander. Alan Kerr is down, but he's struggling to get back to his skates. Well, the Islanders have been hit by injuries, certainly. They just received word that Patrick Flatley has to undergo constructive surgery in his knee. He's out till next year.
That looks like a serious one, Rick. They say 8 months to a year.
Wow.
To get him back.
And Ken Morrow has a separated shoulder. He was just injured in the game Thursday against the Flyers. Richard Crom's got a pulled abdominal muscle. And Gordon Dineen has a sprained ankle. They're not sure if he's going to be able to go tomorrow night for the return match at the Civic Center.
Rick, you mentioned Ken Morrow. This is the time of the year that brings back good memories with Ken Morrow involved in that '80 Olympic team.
Certainly does. He steps from the gold medal U.S. Olympic team to 4 Stanley Cup winners with the Islanders. Not bad.
How about a gold medal and the Stanley Cup in the same year?
The only player to do that.
And if the Soviets don't win the gold medal this year, there's a player with a chance to be able to do that this year. By that I mean if the Czechs win it, for example, the centerman that's going to go to the Flames.
Or how about some of those Soviets? You're talking about...
Well, I don't want to get into that.
Okay.
Maybe we'll just mention that's the big scoop. The 10 Soviets are going to be released to come to the NHL next year.
Ron Francis throws it on net. Kelly Rudy with a stick save. We'll get into that a little bit more in a moment. Out comes Conroy. Lead pass, and it skips off Randy Wood's stick. Weeks is out to play it away. Puck comes back to Sylvain Cote. Wood works to keep it in. LaFontaine centers. Kerr with a shot. They score. Alan Kerr took the pass and drove it by Steve Weeks for the game-opening goal.
Great shot by Kerr. Great work by LaFontaine to get Kerr the puck. Cote went out to block the shot on Kerr, and it got through Cote, and it really handcuffed Steve Weeks because he had no idea where it was when it went through Cote. You can see here's little Pat Fontaine right out to Kerr. Now watch Cote. He goes down the block and it goes under him. Steve Weeks had no shot. He had no idea where the puck was. But I'll tell you, great release, quick release by Alan Kerr. And he's the one that just got hurt earlier in that period. In this period, he should get hurt more often, maybe.
Alan Kerr scores his 18th goal of the year. He had 7 all last year. In fact, he had 10 in his first 98 games in the NHL. Didn't look like he was going to turn into a goal scorer, but he certainly has changed a few minds since. He's second on the team in shots on goal as well. Makela backhands it in front, and Trottier couldn't reach it. Gilbert couldn't as well, as Gary Wilson backhands it off Turgeon's stick. Randy Wood assisted on that goal along with LaFontaine. Kerr's 18th of the 47-second mark. Randy Ladouceur angles it out. Gerald Diddick sails it right back into Whaler ice.
Rick, you know when the defenseman goes to block the shot and he doesn't block it, the goaltender has no chance, and you just stand there hoping that it'll hit you because you have no idea where the puck's coming from even.
They got the whistle for the offside call. And Cote was kind of caught halfway. He was kind of in between there, and
well, that's because of the great pass by LaFontaine. I mean, he just put it through the eye of a needle to get to Kerr.
You got to give Wood some credit too. He hustled back to the point to keep that in.
Yeah, that's what they didn't do in the first period. Quickly mention the Russians again. It was in all the papers today.
10% chance that some of these guys are going to come over off the national team and play in the NHL this year. 90% chance, according to Alan Eagleson, that they're going to come in and play next year. Now, you say there's going to be 10 guys coming in that are playing.
That's next year, Rick.
Oh, okay. All right, so the Islanders keep it in. Potvin with a drive, blocked out in front, and it's chipped away. Evison gets to it. He's checked by Derek King. Brent Sutter struggles in there with Sheehy. Sutter walks in, shoots, kicked out by Weeks, and the rebound dribbles wide. We've got a Whaler penalty upcoming. As Cote works against King, Evison controls, and Bill McCreary will issue a power play opportunity to the Islanders. He indicates slashing against Neil Sheehy. 1-0 Islanders in front early in the second.
Hartford penalty number 0, Neil Sheehy, 2 minutes for slashing. Time of the penalty is 2:14. Sheehy of the Whalers, 2 for slashing.
Now you were saying it's 10 players next year. All right. Wind up.
Neil Sheehy at the bottom of your screen. He's going to get a slashing call. You can see it right there. Slashing, chopping. He bothered Sutter some, but Sutter still got the shot away, and that was a good call by the ref because that was a two-hander.
He goes at 2:14. The Islanders go in the power play for the second time.
I'm sure one thing Terry Simpson said at the end of the first period, we're going nowhere if we don't forecheck. And in this first couple of minutes, 2 minutes and 15 seconds, they've had forecheck pretty good.
Whalers did an excellent job in holding off the Islanders on their first opportunity. Don't believe they did get a shot on net.
No, they didn't. They had a couple, Rick, that just went wide. We had a good angle of the Diddick one, remember? And he hit it about 8 feet wide.
Quenneville steals, sends it in for Brent Peterson. He'll circle back to kill some time. Ulf Samuelsson works with Quenneville behind Peterson and Tippett. The pass hits LaFontaine. It's kept in by Gerald Diddick. LaFontaine goes down, hoping to get a call. Doesn't get it. Samuelsson made the nice pass, even though he was thumped by Diddick. And the Whalers clear. Mikko Makela with 13 power play goals. Slips it to Trottier. LaFontaine leads his club with 14 of his 36 with a man advantage. Thomas Janssen starts it in. Nice move. 1:04 to go in the Sheehy call as Trottier gives it to Makela. Makela has hit the 30-goal plateau in the year. Gets it back from Janssen. He finds Trottier. Janssen lets it go. Saved by Weeks, and the rebound is just deflected behind the net by Quenneville. Evison sails it down the ice with 42 seconds to go in the Whaler penalty.
Well, that was a good opportunity for the Islanders, and you know why? Because they had a lot of traffic going on there, a lot of movement through the middle. And that sort of confused the Whaler penalty killers and allowed Janssen to get that shot on net. Ooh.
Deneen goes down hard. Francis makes the steal. Kevin gets back into the play. The Islanders move it ahead. Makela, 20 seconds to go in the penalty. Cote plays the man. Deneen takes over. That is Potvin with a pass to Brent Sutter. Diddick with a shot and a stick save by Weeks. Sutter scoops it up. Sheehy set to come out in 3 seconds. Lauer gives it back to Sutter. Lets it go. Saved by Weeks, and he'll hang on with Derek King out in front as the Whalers return to full strength.
Rick, we just got the report that Scott Kleinendorf has a separated shoulder. Here's Trottier. Now this is the play. There's a lot of movement in front of the net, and this confused the Whaler penalty killers. Look at all the traffic there. Weeks made a fine save. He did a good job just finding the puck with all the traffic in front of him. Here's the shot again. You see the players crossing? You know, if there's no movement on the power plays, it won't be very successful. In fact, you even saw Dennis Potvin in front of the net.
Another tough situation for Scott Kleinendorst. He goes down with the injury. Quick shot by Kerr. It's turned away by Weeks. And Paul McDermott can't get it out. Ulf Samuelsson finds the open wing as it's tapped back in by the Islanders. And Samuelsson sends it ahead to Peterson, who's just offside at that New York blue line. But Scott has certainly battled injuries all through his career. And, of course, suffered a broken foot in training camp for Team USA prior to the Canada Cup this year. It set him back a little bit, and Now certainly this can't be good news for Larry Plow.
That was a good clean hit too, Rick. It just must have got him in the wrong spot.
Hiddick's pass to Finley. His stick is held as LaFontaine cuts in there. Quenneville just reached down and tapped the puck away. And Jeff Finley rolls it to the Whaler line. LaFontaine takes over. He gets it to Randy Wood. He's got Kerr alone in front, and he makes the pass right through his skates as Robertson sends it back for Wilson. Wilson can't turn the corner, and Gerald Diddick. Cote keeps the play alive to Robertson. Out in front for Wilson, and it's broken up. Kerr starts it back. Swept away by Sheehy. Sylvain Cote sends it out for Torrey Robertson. Lead pass to Anderson, and he's offside. 14:37 to go in the second period. Our score, the Islanders 1 and the Whalers nothing. Against the Islanders team doctor, I'm sure he's a very capable guy, but how many times have you seen a player get hurt on the road? It's diagnosed one way, very serious, and then you get home and it's not so serious. So maybe we can.
Oh, you bring it up, I'll.
Yeah.
The Islanders have certainly come out in the second period and doing the skating. This is a 2-on-1 opportunity with Wood and Kerr, and you can see the puck goes past Kerr again out towards the neutral ice zone. Rick, I was trying to explain that. I was saying the Whalers this period aren't skating as good as the Islanders, and one of the indications of that is the Whalers have had a couple meek opportunities early, and once John Anderson went offside, and another time I think it was Paul McDermott went offside. But they're not skating coming from behind. They're just stopping, and that's forcing them to go offside to chase the puck. And they're certainly not skating as well this period as they did in the first.
Sylvain Cote gives the puck back to Anderson, and we get the whistle for the offside. Jerry, on the Klein-endorsed injury, it's happened a number of times. I can recall in the past couple of years involving the Whalers where a player has been injured on the road. The injury is diagnosed as being very serious. Certainly, they have a very competent medical staff here connected with the Islanders. But I can think back to when Francis was dumped in Montreal. Immediately, it was a concussion. Turns out it wasn't. So hopefully, his injury isn't as serious as a separation, or not a very serious separation. We can hope for that anyway in Scott's case.
Well, Rick, your team doctor is the deciding guy. I mean, this is just an opinion by the Islander doctor. As you said, I'm sure they're good ones. But, it takes time to cool the arm, to cool the shoulder out. When he gets home to Hartford tomorrow, I'm sure the doc from the Whalers will examine him, and hopefully it is just a slight separation, and hopefully it's nothing, maybe a bruise. But I myself, when I coach and everything like that, the original reports on the road were scary, and they really don't care. They say it's a separation, that's it. I won't see it till next year.
Kevin Dineen starts it in for the Whalers. Tries to snap it off. He does, and the shot hit Dennis Potvin, who's been in the way of a number of Whaler opportunities tonight. Ladouceur sends it into Tippett. He is sent flying into the boards by Potvin. Samuelson backhands off a glove. Dineen can't get the shot away as Leiter recovered. Makela held up by Ladouceur. Randy with a strong play there as Evason gives it to Tippett. Tippett looks to center, and he found Ladouceur turning around. McDermott shoots, and it just bounces wide of Kelly Rudy. Tippett. The Whalers looking to get on the board here. Evason cuts in front, backhands it on goal. Rudy with a stop, and McDermott was taken down by Conroy. He'll go for a penalty, and the Whalers will have the power play chance when we come back, trailing 1-0.
Islanders penalty number 30, Conroy, 2 minutes for booking. Time of penalty is 6:40. For booking at 6:40.
It's their second.
You look at the left bottom of your screen, you're going to see Conroy right here take McDermott down, and therefore the hooking call, as Evison was on his way in front of the net trying to stuff it on Kelly Rudy. So this is the Whalers' second power play of the evening, and a chance for them to tie this ball game up.
Wilson works with McDermott and Anderson up front. Francis and Samuelson are the point men. Anderson over to Francis. Sutter gets out quickly on him as McDermott had it poked away by Diddick. Wilson keeps the play moving for the Whalers. Sends it back to McDermott. Francis held up by Sutter. Wilson tries to cut out in front. Gary Wilson hooked to the ice. Sutter will go off for a penalty when the Islanders control, and they do as Diddick and McDermott collide. And with 1:27 remaining on the hooking call to Conroy, now Sutter will go to the box.
Great move by Gary Wilson just inside the Islander blue line, forcing Sutter to get the hook into him, bring him down, and the Whalers will have a two-man advantage for the next minute and 27 seconds.
Islanders penalty number 21.
Well, what a shifty move he made inside the blue line. Let's watch it. And we'll see why Sutter got stung. Fakes to his forehand, comes down. Sutter went for the forehand fake. Gary Wilson beat him. You can see him clearly hook him. That's a good call. I don't care if you're 8 men short, it's a hook. And I should say, I don't care what time of the hockey game it is, it's a hook.
Sutter didn't seem to complain too much, and Terry Simpson is concerned about getting his troops together here. Down 2 men as Trottier works with Greg Gilbert and Gerald Diddick. Once again, we encounter another 2 forward, 1 defenseman group in this situation.
Gainey, Carbonneau, and Green, or something like that. I don't know. These young modern day coaches are confusing us all.
Well, the Whalers will make 1 change in their power play unit. They insert Turgeon for John Anderson as Francis gives it to Samuelson, in for Turgeon. Francis back to Samuelson, shooting, and it's blocked by Gilbert. Francis moves it into Wilson. Francis quickly, Samuelson shooting, saved by Rudy, and he bats the rebound away. Rudy was involved in a collision as Turgeon, and Wilson, his shot is deflected away. Kelly Rudy with a spectacular stop. Gary Wilson back into the Samuelson shooting, and it's blocked in front. Samuelson keeps it in. 48 seconds to go with a 2-man advantage. Ulfi with a drive, and he rips it wide. Turgeon back to Samuelson. Gives it to Turgeon. Ulfi shoots. Glove save. Kelly Rudy.
Look, I'm not so sure that shot was on the net, but the save before that was absolutely sensational. You know, I've always held Kelly Rudy right a little below the Hextall and Fuhrs, and I know he struggled this year. Maybe he doesn't tie his bow right behind his, on that ribbon around his head, but he's a sensational goaltender, and he just showed it in this last 30, 40 seconds. Very quick, cat-like. Let's watch this first save now, not the last one. Here's Francis over to Samuelson. Here's the bullet. Now there's the save, and the bats it out. And he goes down a little bit. Now the puck's going to come over to his right. Look at the quickness to get over and get his toe or stick. There's something on that. I'll tell you, he's quick. Now we're going to see the glove save again. And, well, no, this is the second save before that. But it finally goes out to Samuelson. He drifts it. And I kind of, regardless if it's over that or not, he had to catch it just to get a little breather. He must be wearing a bandana or something. That's what I was thinking of. You see that bow behind his, on his helmet? I never had that problem with the hair getting in my eyes.
I think it's for perspiration, though, Jerry. Whalers maintain control. 30 seconds to go in the Conroy penalty. LaFontaine will send it by Alan Kerr down the ice. That's the time remaining on the 2-man advantage. 18 seconds. That remains on the Conroy call, and then Sutter is in the box for 33 seconds more. Potvin gets it away to Kerr, and he'll shovel it down the ice.
Simpson putting a lot of faith in Alan Kerr, the second-year player, putting him out in this situation. Boy, that makes a guy feel good, doesn't it?
John Anderson ahead for Kevin Dineen. 1 penalty's over. Francis over to Evison. Tries to slip it between Rudy's legs, and he can't get it by him. With 25 seconds to go in the Sutter call.
Well, Rudy was a little too quick there, and he had to adjust to make the save on Evison. Evison held it. Rudy read the play pretty good, slid over to his right, and Evison held on to it, and he was gone, Rudy, but let's see his quickness again. Here's the pass to Evison. Rudy very premature in getting over there, but the puck comes right back to him. And when you're hot, you're hot. When things are going good, the puck ends up where we just saw under Rudy. But he's a very quick goaltender, Rick.
Jerry, I know one reason you like him is because he has paid his dues in the minors, spent 2.5 years in the Central League, dominated that league until he got his full-time shot with the Islanders, and he's been an Islander for 4 full seasons, including this.
I like him. I like him a lot as a goaltender.
Here's the pass for Trottier, knocked down by Ulf Samuelsson. 15 seconds remaining on the Whalers' third power play chance. Cote sends it in. McDermott catches up to it. He's belted by Conroy. The Islanders clear it, and that is just about going to do it for the Brent Sutter call. And the crowd here at the Coliseum rightfully applauds the penalty-killing efforts of the home club as Conroy is back for the puck. Winds it back around for the waiting Greg Gilbert. He slips it to Sutter. LaFontaine with a shot, and it's blocked by Sylvain Cote. Islanders lead it 1-0. 10:25 remaining here in the second period as they jam up and freeze the puck near the Islander bench. And Kevin Collins is in the middle of things, helping to keep the peace. A Springfield native.
I don't think the Whalers can complain with the not having any opportunities in that 2-man advantage. They had plenty of opportunities, 3 or 4 good ones, forcing Rudy to make the save. It's a double dose of adventure as Kojak hits the streets of New York. Twice a day, catch Telly Savalas as Kojak at 6 and at 10 o'clock at WHCT. And don't forget, there's more action with Knight Rider weekdays at 4 and Simon & Simon every day at 5. The thrills are non-stop with Knight Rider, Simon & Simon, and a double shot of Kojak every day beginning at 4 o'clock, right here on WHCT Channel 18.
Whalers are not without their rooters here this evening. Couple of busloads from the Booster Club here at the game. Mick Vakota off that faceoff dropped his stick and gloves. He was ready to go at Torrey Robertson. Robertson continued on with a play, and Vakota ended up looking pretty silly there for a few moments as we get a whistle for an offside. And
it looked like he ended up shadow boxing. Torrey just skated away from him. Torrey doesn't want anything to do with him. Leave him on the ice, Torrey. Now he's talking to him. He's saying, I just want to show these fans a couple of my moves. You know, when that bar goes and throw some shots.
Everybody was moving for the puck, and Mick was standing there bare-fisted. Tippett and Bassett on the face-off as the Whalers drive it in. Leiter knocks it down. Tippett works it free. Potvin covers it up, and he will get the stoppage in play. 9:56 to go in the second period. Our score: New York 1, Hartford 0. What'd you give me that look for?
I thought you would say.
No, I know what you're going to say. I was careful not. You want it?
On the last play, it took a great effort by Dennis Potvin. The puck was bouncing. We're looking at Captain Brent Sutter here. And he made sure he got his body in the way to smother it. A younger defenseman might have played it with a stick or something, and it bounced over, and we had 2 Whalers going to the net.
Brad Lauer for the Islanders sends it in off Week's glove. Sutter's over to pick it up. He's muscled there by Randy Ledesser. Derek King is checked by Stu Gavin. Sutter's in there as well. Ledesser pins him. Bill McCurry wants him to keep playing here and try to move the puck. They do. Tippett can't get it out. Potvin, nice move. Shooting just wide. Ken Leiter pulls it in for King. Tippett bumped by Brent Sutter. Quenneville's in there digging for the puck. This time they freeze it and they get the whistle.
We wasted a good minute there. You know, when the puck's along the boards like that, it's the job of the offense, in this case the Islanders, to keep the puck going. They want it. They want the play to go. They don't want the play to stop. And it's the job of the defensive team, the Whalers in this case, to get the face-off. And I'll tell you, that's hard work along the board. You know, the first team that really dictated that were the Flyers in their championship years. I mean, they never froze the puck in their end. You see some teams go in and, you know, we'll freeze the puck and get a face-off and all that. The Flyers never froze it. They just kept working and working. They didn't have the greatest hockey players in the world, but they had great workers and who loved their coach, Freddie Sherrill, and just did what they were told.
Islanders control the draw. Janssen shooting. Weeks with a save. Cote pokes the rebound out through center. Janssen stumbles. He's checked by McDermott. Basson spun around by Francis. Bakota sends it ahead to Henry. Conroy looks for Bob Basson. He's double teamed though. Bakota scoops it up. Francis takes him to the boards. Bakota continues on, puts it in front, and Basson just couldn't reach it. Anderson steps into him, and out comes Paul McDermott. Cote, poke check nicely by Janssen at the line. Bakota taps it ahead to Basson. Basson out in front. Weeks the stop on Dale Henry. Great stop by Steve Weeks. He's made a couple of toughies, including that one near the end of the first period, and apparently he tipped the shot by Mikko Makela. LaFontaine sends it into Randy Wood. He's ridden out nicely by Evison. Cote moves it along. Finley's in from the blue line, gets it back. Finley on the backhand, he sends it wide. The puck comes out in front. Kerr shoots, he scores. Alan Kerr has both Islander goals for a 2-0 advantage.
Well, Alan Kerr was in the right spot at the right time, and he pucked him right out to the slot area to him. This is after the rookie Jeff Finley had a great opportunity in front of the net. He'll never get a better opportunity, and he's more or less just missed his shot. But somehow, now here's the rookie Finley coming to his backhand. This is a defenseman, tries to pull Weeks, he does, but it ends up behind the net. And you see the puck come right out to Kerr. And boy, he is just in the right spot at the right time. That puck's rolling. He's a left-handed shot. Here's an effort once again by Finley. Now the puck is going to end up back to Kerr. I should say he's a right-handed shot, Rick, and everything was moving to Weeks' right, and he put it right back on the left.
2-0 Islanders in front. 7:35 remaining here in the second period. Kerr scores his second of the game, 19th of the year. Turgeon's back for the Whalers, but Didick holds him up. Mikko Makela's pass is knocked down, but the Islanders move it ahead, and Randy Lenasseur takes over for Hartford. He gives it to Evison. Dean Evison with Turgeon. Missing the pass. Didick plays it to Gilbert. It's chopped ahead, but Samuelson is back. Kerry Wilson sails it in. Turgeon digs in there against Gerald Didick. Nice hit by Turgeon. Finley's belted in there by Gavin. They work it out to Henry. Randy Wood and Finley assist on that goal at 12-10. Kerr's 19th. Back with the puck. It's Ken Leiter. He's held up by Gavin as Potvin just clears it out of the zone. Lenasseur double teamed. Robertson is checked by Lauer. And the Whalers will start it again with Ulf Samuelsson. Ulf's pass knocked down. Robertson couldn't quite get to it. Henry starts it back as Sutter gives it to Lauer. Big drive kicked out by Weeks. Glenville gets rid of the rebound to Stu Gavin. He looks for Robertson ahead. The puck deflects in behind Torrey. Well, the Islanders move it out of the zone, so we don't get a whistle. 3-on-2. The Islanders are back. Samuelsson holds up Lauer. Francis scoops it up. Ronnie maneuvers in. Feeds it in front to Quenneville. He's held off by Rudy. McDermott in front, and he puts it on net. It's steered away by Rudy. Conroy chips it out to center.
Rudy was very cool in that. He just played the puck. Didn't worry about Joel Quinville. And that's why he was allowed to be in the right spot.
Joel turned around. There was the pass, and there was Rudy waiting for him as Janssen stick handles out for the Islanders. He'll lift it in.
You're right. The good news is the puck was right there. The bad news, so was Kelly Rudy.
5:20 to go, second period. Ladouceur is on the move for the Whalers. Randy turns the corner, tries to stop it, and Rudy stops him. Great effort by Randy Ladouceur, but Rudy once again was there. And we get a whistle as apparently the net was dislodged from the Magnets. 5:06 remaining, second period. The Islanders lead 2-0.
Kevin just went to the washroom, to the dressing room.
Let's hope it's just the washroom. I was ready. If Laddie put that home, it would have been his first goal in 70 games.
What do we got coming back?
We look at Greg Gilbert. Apparently he's been shaken up. He might have caught it in the ribs there as he missed Randy Ladouceur going into the boards.
Yeah, here's the Ladouceur rush right now. He cuts to the front. And I'll tell you, he fooled Rudy, because I don't think Rudy ever expected Ladouceur to cut in front there. But once again, the quickness of Rudy allowed him to make the save.
So then Cote wrist shot is scooped up by Rudy. He sets it down for Didick. Randy looked like he'd been doing that all his life. Back comes Makela for the Islanders. Trotier's with him. The pass is blocked by Sheehy. Cote sends it ahead for Dean Evison. Dave Tippett on left wing. He's got Gavin ahead of the pack, but he can't get him the puck as Didick has Tippett well tied up. Gerald Didick, former Islander first-round pick, gives it to Makela. He's dumped by Sheehy. Tippett hands it back to Dean Evison. McDermott is patrolling that Islander zone. He lands the hit on Dennis Potvin. Crunching check there by McDermott. Here's the pass to Lauer, and the play is offside. Well, he's dished out a few over 15 years. I guess he could take a few, too.
Well, you know, if you play in this league 15 years, you do have to take a few. And, you know, he saw McDermott coming. I'll tell you, you're right, Rick. Potvin has been one of the better hitters in the game of hockey. But here's the hit by McDermott. You know, he just follows. After Potvin passes, he just follows it up. Maybe a couple strides too many, but he did follow it up. And you're supposed to do that, take the man out after he passes.
Jerry, here's a fella that we're going to see in Hartford tomorrow night for probably the last time as McDermott touches the puck for an offside whistle. 15 years, he owns all the scoring records by a defenseman. How would you characterize his career?
Well, we're just going to look at Makela one-on-one with She. She stays up, looks right Makela right in the chest, gives him a little tap, Makela goes down. That's a perfect way to play one-on-one, and Makela is a very tough guy when one-on-one. How would I describe his career? Well, excellent to start with. And I think the most important thing, even though he's won 3 Norrises, is the fact that he's captained 4 Stanley Cup teams. So therefore, I'd have to say he wasn't a fraud or a phony at all. He was a genuine superstar. And hopefully, Rick, I talked to him before the game that maybe he'll come on with us tomorrow night.
We'll look forward to that as here's Lauer cutting in, shooting, saved by Weeks. And he'll hang on to it with bodies flying all over the place. Turgeon that goal mouth along with Brent Sutter. As the Whalers have been frustrated here. They trail 2-0, but they've had some excellent scoring chances.
You know what? The success of your team depends a lot how you come out of your end. And you see right there, the left winger comes off the boards. The center makes the turn, comes up the middle, and they have a nice little breakout. I'll tell you, when you come out of your end that easy, you do that most of the night, chances are you're going to win the game. Anyway, why we were talking about Potvin was, I did mention, he was one of the best hitters, you know. I mean, you know, Bobby Orr wasn't a great hitter. At time, Parks was a great hitter. But Potvin was a very hard hitter. I mean, he would let you come down the boards. You'd think you'd have him beat. and bango, you give you the old hip, the Marcel Pronovost hip check.
He seemed to control the game out there, as an Orr certainly would, but in a less flashy manner. Very strong and controlled type of situation. As you say, obviously he was a great leader too. Thomas Janssen on the Islander defense, gives it to Vakota. He fences with Quenneville for it. Francis hands it to John Anderson. Looks for Torrey Robertson. Robertson in front to Francis, and he was held out by Dale Henry. Anderson keeps the play in the zone. He's bumped by Vakota. Back comes Henry. Dale Henry held up nicely by Cote at the blue line. Francis tried to bounce it ahead for Anderson. That was deflected away. Vakota bumping everybody out there. Anderson tried to make the play. Henry back to Conroy.
It's funny, Rick, the players in the dressing room before the game, you get the stat sheets and they'll say, Mickey Vakota, 3 goals, 3 assists, and 390 minutes in penalties. Let's just stay away from him. Torrey, he doesn't want no part of him. Not because he's afraid or anything. They just don't want, why get involved with him?
Vakota wanted to go with him as that play moved up ice a few moments ago. There's a pass by Wood that's deflected. LaFontaine scoops it up, leaves it for Kerr, who's been the offensive story in this game for the Islanders. And Kerr lets the shot go, and it's deflected by Samuelson up into the crowd with 2:08 remaining in the second period, and the Whalers down by the score, up 2-0.
He just did go to the bathroom.
Maybe.
2013, it was 10-4 or 9-4 in the first.
10-4.
Broderick Crawford.
That's
so
right.
it's 10-9.
10-9. What would you say? They had 4 or 5 shots on that two-man advantage?
Maybe 4 at the most. Whether it's 1, I don't know if that one over the net that he caught was.
You want it?
Once again, the Whalers are playing a pretty strong road game, but unfortunately they trail by 2 and they got to make more happen. There are only good opportunities in this period when they had a 2-man advantage and maybe a rush by Ladouceur, but the Islanders seem to be very much in control at equal strength. They're not, once again, Rick, flashy about it or dominating by any means, but they do have the 2-goal lead with 2 minutes left in the second period.
Samuelson gives the puck to Dave Tippett. Rudy can't get to the carom, but Didick did. Fortunately for Kelly Rudy and the Islanders, Stu Gavin had steamed in there and just couldn't reach it. He would have had an open net staring at him, and he reached that pass. Here's Tippett. Gets that blue line, tries to step around Didick, but Rudy clears it away to Finley. He's held up by Gavin. Tippett goes down under the check of Didick. Wood gives it to Kerr. Alan Kerr leaves it for his defense. Kerr deflects it ahead. LaFontaine can't quite get it. It's cleared away by Sheehy.
Rick, remind me to tell you a story of that board. How the puck come out on Rudy there.
All right.
It's a very important part of Islander history, as a matter of fact. That same board and the way the puck come out.
Gary Wilson is in for checking against Dale Henry. Steps away from Potvin. McDermott with under a minute to go in the second period, and the Whalers looking to get on the board. They can't get anything started there as Cote comes back. Whalers have to let that pass go. It would have been a 2-liner, and thus Ken Leiter takes over. He sends it off Henry's stick, and Cote takes a look as he strides back. The pass is by John Anderson. 30 seconds remaining as Potvin scoops it up. Whalers have Dineen, Francis, and Anderson on. Potvin sails it off the boards, trying to hit Makela, who's onside. Makela's cutting in. He shoots. Saved by Weeks, and Cote got rid of the rebound. Here's the try by Trottier. It's deflected over the net. 10 seconds to go, second period. Kevin Dineen reaches it. Tries to take on Conroy, and they'll run out of time as the second period comes to an end. Francis checks Derek King almost into the bench area, but Things settle down quickly as the second period comes to an end. The Islanders have scored both their goals in the second period and lead after 40 minutes by the score of 2-0.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, Manufacturers Hanover brings you the Great Puck Race. This 3-lap race is run after the second period of every Islanders home game. Will determine at season's end the fastest puck in North America. Which of these 3 pucks will win tonight's race? Will it be Go-Go Green, or the White Flash, or Rapid Red? They're on the mark. It's set. And they're off. Now the first turn, it is the White Flash team. Go-Go Green now takes the lead in front. And White Flash regains it down the back stretch the first time. White Flash leads it. Go-Go Green now pulls in front. They've completed 1 lap. And White Flash leads it. Go-Go Green, Rapid Red now in front. They go down the back stretch the second time. Rapid Red. And White Flash, they turn for home. Now in the final lap. And down the back stretch they go. They turn for home. They're at the 8th hole. And the winner is Go-Go Green. Manufacturers Hanover invites all of you back this Tuesday when the Islanders face off against the Vancouver Canucks. Ladies and gentlemen, on Saturday, February 27th,
I just tested. Here we go.
Come to town. The Islanders will host their 6th annual Athletes Against Hunger Day.
Now we're going to a spot out of this.
Are urged to bring cans of nutritious food to help fight hunger here on the island. Islander defenseman Ken Leiter and his wife Kathy will lead this year's attack on hunger.
Oh, okay. So we don't throw to him.
Better last year's total of 4,000 pounds of food.
The Islanders lead by the score of 2-0. Both their goals coming from the stick of Alan Kerr in the second period. The shots were even 10 apiece. And Jerry, you mentioned the Islanders were skating better than the Whalers perhaps in the first half of the period. Really, the Whalers had their chances to get on the board. This could easily be a 2-2 game. Kelly Rudy has really played a heck of a game for the Islanders.
He certainly has, Rick, and you had to be very sharp when the Whalers had a 2-man advantage and failed to score on it. He made some great saves. The Whalers had moved the puck around good in that power play opportunity too. But the Whalers are playing a fine game, but usually when you have a two-man advantage for that long and don't score, things are going to go the other way for you too. But they're hanging in there. They're playing a great game. The 2 goals that the Islanders got, Weeks had no chance on. There was a breakdown in the second goal due to the fact that Finley, the rookie, got in clear, and that sort of set up the goal by Kerr. But I really don't mind the way the Whalers are playing. They're working hard, they're skating, and they've certainly had as many scoring opportunities as the Islanders.
Now, the Whalers came from behind when these 2 teams met in January in Hartford. It's the first time this year they came from behind in the third period after trailing following 2 periods to win a hockey game. Now, they face this situation now. What are they going to have to do? Do they start exerting a little more pressure now that they're down by 2 in this one?
Well, they got to go forward a little bit, Rick, but they're playing good enough to win the way they're playing too, but they have to get more opportunities, I think, at even strength. And if the Islanders, who are a very good defensive team, Simpson really stresses the defense, especially with the lead, the Islanders aren't going to give them anything. They aren't going to do anything liberal that'll give the Whalers a chance. They're going to be very conservative in their defensive approach to the game. I would think that the Whalers don't want to lose the puck continually at the Islander blue line. If there's nothing available, it has to go in, and the players without the puck have to know it's going in. Excuse me. And that's how they're going to create their scoring opportunities.
Yeah, the Islanders got back to their style, certainly in the early part of that second period. They didn't look anything like the hustling Islander team we had seen before in the first period.
Well, they had a weak first period. They managed to survive. But the Whalers skated very well in the first period. But you could see when they come out in that second period, Rick, that's the way the Islanders play, and that's what's going to happen to the Whalers in this third period if they want a chance to win. Forechecking, getting in on the on the Islander defense, having the third guy up high, which was very responsible for the first Islander goal. I think it was Wood who kept the puck in, as you said, at the blue line. And you have to have some sort of a scheme like that to create the scoring opportunities.
Well, Alan Kerr owns both goals in this game, giving him 19 on the season. He's been quite an offensive story for the Islanders. He had 7 goals all of last year, so they've been helped certainly by his boost in attack, and he has been the difference offensively in this hockey game with the Islanders in front by the score of 2-0. When we come back at the intermission, we'll be checking in with Irv Goldfire back at the Channel 18 studios. Something, then just read the promo, and then after you're done, we'll
Just
cut
say
to
we're in
us.
between the second and third period.
Yeah.
2-0 Islanders. Let's remind you that.
What are we going to see, Jim? Okay. All right. We're going to see both goals, and then we're going to see the saves by Rudy during the two-man advantage. What do you want to talk about? We're going to need a little time, I guess, to queue up.
When? After
Before. Like, after you read that, we're going to have to fill a couple of seconds.
you going to go right to you after we read this?
Yeah. I'm just going to hold the mic, you read it, they'll show that. When you're done, then we'll just talk about the period.
15 back.
You're the one that's picking the questions. Don't be laughing. Back here in between the second and third periods at the Nassau Coliseum with the Islanders leading 2-0. Let's remind you that Channel 18 has brought you every Whaler visit this season to the Boston Garden. And we'll complete that schedule with another Hartford-Boston battle this week. Join Rick and me Thursday night at 7:30 when the Whalers and Bruins meet in the second game of a home-and-home series. The Bruins are hot, and this could be a playoff preview. So don't miss a minute of it. Whalers and Bruins Thursday, only on Channel 18.
Well, Jerry, after this weekend, we get down to 20 games remaining in the regular season, 9 of those games against Adams Division clubs. So the margin for error certainly gets smaller at this stage of the season.
Rick, as we said at the start of the telecast tonight, the Whalers just got to improve on their playing, too, to get ready for the playoffs. And I've said it all along, they got to make sure they get in the playoffs. You know, until the fat lady sings, you're not in there. And I think they will make it, though. I don't think there's any big concern. And, you know, they just got to keep working hard. Okay, let's look at the second, the first goal by the Islanders. This is a great pass by LaFontaine, and Alan Kerr releases it very quickly to beat Steve Weeks. Now, Weeks didn't have much of an opportunity in this because Cote got caught in the middle, as you described it, Rick, went down, went under, and Weeks could only hope that it hit him. Now, here's the second Islander goal. The rookie Finley goes to a backhand, misses the net by 1.5 feet, but somehow the Islanders come up with a puck again, and Finley, I think, bats it off Anderson's stick back to Alan Kerr again, and he bats a rolling puck right to the left of Steve Weeks. And as I said, Rick, when the goal went in, Kerr was in the right spot at the right time, but that's his job. He was the deep man, and when he saw that there was a chance that the Islanders come up with a puck, he moved in a little bit, was rewarded with a great opportunity, and he put it in the net. Now, here's some of the work by Kelly Rudy when the Islanders were down by 2. That was the first save during this power play, and here's a second spectacular save. I believe he's got his right foot on it, and that was just being young, eager, and quick, and that's why he saved it. And the play continues. He's going to make one other save here that is of his importance because this was on the net, and you're going to see him make that save right there. And finally, the puck ends up to Samuelson on the point, and Samuelson drives it. I think it was over the net, but nevertheless, Rudy played it to get a break and play. This is with 1 minute left, Rick, and the play was going back and forth, but this was a great play, only for Makula to remain onside, and he tries to go to the same side he did at the end of the first period. Weeks sort of knew that and made a very good save.
That keeps the score at 2-0. The Islanders out in front, and Jerry and I will return with a third period of action from the Nassau Coliseum right after this.
Back in 30.
You can recapture the memories and the spectacular moments of last year's Whalers season by getting the Hartford Insurance Group Whaler Mania 86-87 highlight video at the Whalers gift shop. Relive the excitement of the Adams Division Championship by picking up your video now. The Hartford Insurance Group Whaler Mania 86-87 highlight film, available at the Whalers gift shop in the Civic Center. The Whalers trail in this one 2-0. Alan Kerr has both the goals. His first one at 47 seconds of the second period, assisted by Pat LaFontaine and Randy Wood. And at 12:10, Kerr scored his 19th of the year from Finley and Wood. Wood, the second all-time leading scorer in Yale hockey history.
Wow.
I'm sure he's got a few friends viewing this one here on WHCT this evening.
He was sent down and called up in the same day, I think, this week. No, I think he went down to Springfield for one game in a couple of days.
He and Brian Curran were sent down to get into shape. They had both been out with injuries, and they needed Wood sooner than they thought with more injuries. Alan Kerr leaves the puck for LaFontaine. Dave Tippett keeps it in, shoots, saved by Rudy, and he keeps that rebound within reach, and now we get some jamming between Dineen and Janssen. And Dineen is wrestled to the ice by Alan Kerr, their penalty minute leader.
There'll be a couple of penalties handled out, I'm sure, to Dineen and Janssen. Meanwhile, Davey Tippett let a terrific wrist shot go, and Rudy was right on the edge of his crease to make the save. We're going to watch the great play by Tippett in keeping the puck in, and he's going to let a little wrist shot go right here. Good wood on it, but look where Rudy is. Perfect position. Freezes the puck, and you see Dineen and Janssen go at it. Kevin give him a little cuff there, and in comes Kerr and Woods to protect Thomas Janssen, very talented European hockey player.
Roughing minors to both Dineen and Janssen at the 18-second mark. Here is Dennis Potvin, who has racked up 1,039 points coming into this game over his long career.
Look, I think we've mentioned that he's retiring after the end of this year.
Yes.
Hopefully he comes on with us tomorrow. I'd like to ask him if there's any way in the world he would change his mind.
That'll be interesting to see what his response would be. From what I've read anyway, he seems to really be enjoying this final time around. Kerr with a pass knocked down by Quenneville, centered, and Wood couldn't pick it up. Potvin wrist shot, and it's deflected over top of the goal. Tippett can't get it by Ken Leiter. He persists, and Evison brings it out. Quenneville strides ahead with him. Evison to McDermott, and he tried to kick it ahead to his stick. The shot went wide, the net went flying. Rudy is sprawled along with Joel Quenneville, who's checking out his left leg.
I think Rudy's all right. He just want to take a breather right here. There's the Islander trainer. Rudy will be all right. That was a funny play. The net went, as you said, Rick. They looked like bowling pins going down up there. You know, during the opening of the game, well, let's watch this play. There's a pass to McDermott. You see LaFontaine is the guy back. He takes out Joel Quenneville. What's he doing down in front of the net? But he's going to the net. Look at this, four bodies. Here's another angle of it. Here's the pass by Evison. Good hard pass. Dino, one of the best passers in the game, gets it over to McDermott. It just goes off the end of his stick, and you can see LaFontaine, who worked hard to come back, take Quenneville out. Rick, we said that the big line for the Islanders was Trottier, Macklin, and Gilbert. We were wrong. We should apologize. Certainly to LaFontaine, Wood, and Kerr. I mean, they just had an excellent scoring opportunity before this. I'm really not apologizing to them, but in all fairness, they've had an excellent game, that line.
I think Kerr, just from watching him tonight, of course, we haven't seen a whole lot of him over his brief NHL career. He just seems to know where to go, and a guy like LaFontaine is going to get him the puck. That's that strength down the middle we were talking about in the open. Sheehy backhands it out to the point. Diddick with a shot deflected on goal by Sutter, but Weeks had a relatively easy time in sweeping it away. King, though, works, gets it to Sutter, saved by Weeks. This time a little more difficult shot by Brent Sutter. Anderson just chips it down the ice.
Did Weeks ever play that very coolly and just like an old pro? He just saw Sutter at a difficult angle, come out perfectly and to make the save.
Brent Sutter strides for that puck. Sheehy wins the race and chops it away. Anderson picks it up. kept in. Leiter with a drive, and that's wide. Cote moves it ahead. Anderson didn't see it coming, but Mackelda did. Takes the shot, and he whistles that just wide. Trottier gives it to Steve Conroy. Conroy, who along with Rich Crom came from the Flames in the John Tonelli deal a couple of years ago. Here's the pass out to Gavin. He'll take on Gilbert. Steps around him. And Gavin plants Gilbert into the boards. It's centered off Wilson's stick as Turgeon put it out in front. Gilbert gives it to Trottier. Quenneville knocks it down, but right back to Leiter, and he missed the breaking Mackelda. Weeks comes out to play it away. Quenneville gathers it in. Turgeon takes the big shot. Saved by Rudy off his stick, and he deflects it over the glass. On the team, he happened to be a member of the country club. Larry Plow was the coach at the time, and after spending the night in plush surroundings, they dispatched the Islanders 4-2 for their first ever win here. Here's Kerr cutting in, stopped by Weeks, and he keeps the rebound away from Randy Wood.
Once again,
as Dean Evason's out for the faceoff against LaFontaine, Wood heads for the corner. Sheehy sends it along. LaFontaine gets it away from Dineen. Kerr back to LaFontaine shooting, and he just missed the net. Randy Wood snaps one off, and it's deflected wide by Pat LaFontaine. Kerr and Dineen bump. Islanders are forced to center. Kerr gave it up to Neil Sheehy on the Whaler defense. Slides it by Dean Evason. No icing as Rudy comes out to play it. Conroy lifts the pass to Kerr. He gives it back to Pat LaFontaine, in for Wood. Wrist shot is wide. Kerr gives it to LaFontaine. Back to Kerr. Shooting save by Weeks off his right shoulder. Dineen charges out for the Whalers. Both teams change up as Dineen chops it in. Leiter back to Dennis Potvin. Sutter with a pass to Trottier. Can't get it out in front. Potvin's in deep. The puck is loose, and Weeks finds it. He'll cover it for the stoppage in play. 16 minutes to go in the third period. The Islanders continue with a 2-0 lead.
pay a little more attention to the LaFontaine, Kerr, and Wood line, because every time they're on the ice, they seem to be going towards the net and getting good opportunities.
Anderson gets rid of the puck. Rudy comes out, and the 27-year-old netminder fires it to center. It comes back to Dennis Potvin. Robertson works against Basson. Francis with Randy Ladouceur. Cross ice pass knocked down by Vakota. Anderson steals. He gave it up to Leiter. Here comes Basson. Weeks has time to play it, and he keeps it away from Mick Vakota. Cote chops it free. Bassett shoots it. Weeks comes up with a great glove save.
That sure was a good glove save, Rick, and Vakota skated right in front of Basson. Masterton Award.
He's had a big week. 5 goals in 3 games, including a hat trick against Calgary on Tuesday, but Jerry mentioned it looked like he's going to get to continue tonight. Here's Mackelda with a shot and a stop by Weeks. Mikko Mackelda keeps it moving to Trottier. He's wrapped up by Quenneville. Mackelda fires it out to the point. Didick right back into Mackelda. Mackelda gives it to Brian Trottier. He finds Conroy into Mackelda, and it's chipped away by Ulf Samuelsson over the glass and out of play in the Hartford area. The Whaler fans haven't had a whole lot to cheer about this evening. They've been blanked thus far, 2-0. Here's Dean Evason. Drives it in off the glass. Sutter. Lauer moves it ahead for King. Sheehy stays right with him and rides him out of there. Thomas Janssen gets it to Islander captain Brent Sutter. Conroy takes it. It skips off Lauer's stick, but Janssen gets it right back from Anderson. Fakes the shot. Shoots. Pad save by Weeks. Janssen has it back again. Sutter works against Dean Evison. Deneen tries to poke it away. Alan Kerr grabs it. Kerr going for his first NHL hat trick tonight. Derek King rolls it in on net. Sheehy backhands it out. Whalers in a line change. The Francis unit comes on as Potvin with a pass in deep in the Whalers zone. Sheehy met by Randy Wood. Gets some help from Ladouceur. He's tripped up by LaFontaine. Ladouceur lands on the puck. McCreary says keep playing it. Kerr does with a shot on net. Wood centers. Alan Kerr in the backhand had it poked away, and John Anderson maneuvers out. The Whalers felt there should have been a whistle with Ladouceur down on the puck. Here's Gavin walking in. Backhands it in the goal mouth. Francis with a try that's wide. Gavin on the backhand. Stopped by Rudy. An Islander penalty upcoming. Gavin with Glenville in for the point. Gavin shoots through a screen. It's knocked down. The Islanders control it. And we'll have a penalty for holding coming up. 12:53 to go in the third period. The Whalers trail by 2, but they have the man advantage.
Islanders penalty number 29, Ken Leiter, 2 minutes for holding. Time of the penalty is 7:07. Leiter of the Islanders, 2 for holding at 7:07.
Rick, remind me to tell you a story of the boards.
Oh yeah, geez, we got to get to that. I mean, you mentioned it. You got to follow up.
McCreary, hold, Leiter, get in the box.
Whalers going the power play for the 4th time today, and it's clear down the ice. As the Whalers trailing 2-0. Get the power play here at 7:07. The Islanders have not had a power play opportunity since early in the second period on the Sheehy slashing call. Turgeon dumps it in. Trottier beaten to it by Gavin. Wilson pries it free. Wilson has 2 men in front. Goes to the point. He gets it back from Samuelson, shoots, and he blisters it just wide, and the rebound comes all the way back to Whaler ice.
You know, if Wilson's going to shoot from there, Rick, and the right point's coming in this case, Ronnie Francis, he has got to make sure he hits the net.
Potvin works it away. Gives it to Brent Sutter. Sutter with 1:05 left on the penalty. He keeps digging in there and pries it free so Janssen can kill some clock.
Now, I wonder how many teams this year, because of the number of penalties being called, have won hockey games without scoring a power play goal. Not many, I would think.
Sylvain Cote across to John Anderson. And you check the summaries, and the team that wins usually has at least as many power play goals, or perhaps the advantage. Anderson goes down, doesn't get the call. Whalers move it to Samuelson. Shooting stick save by Rudy, as he was well screened by Anderson and Deneen. Janssen moves it out to the point. Cote has it. It's by Deneen. Stick with 16 seconds to go on the penalty. Evison back to Cote, over to Samuelson. Kevin Deneen back to Cote, shooting, and it's deflected away. Evison moves it with 3 seconds to go in the penalty. Deneen gives it to Evison. Islanders are back to full strength. Leiter returns. Here's Samuelson in for the blue line. Out to Cote. Shooting save by Rudy. And he bats the rebound to the corner. Evison tries to step in front. He's decked on the check by Trottier. Samuelson shoots. Stopped by Rudy. He gloves it in traffic and hangs on.
And this is right at the end. In fact, it might have been at even strength then, as Samuelson gets the puck up right around the midsection of Rudy, and he freezes it. Gets the whistle, and here we go.
Jerry, while we got a minute here, it's time for the ground round trivia question here on Channel 18. And we'll get to that in just a moment. Keep in mind the number is 525-6045 to call as far as the quiz is concerned, and on Whalers wrap-up with Herb Goldfarb following the game. McDermott rushed in behind the net. McDermott takes it, sends it off Robertson's stick. Gerald Diddick is back for the Islanders. Sends it to the open wing, and Ladouceur knocks it down. Couldn't pick it up, though. Lauer's there, steams in. Lauer can't get a shot away. He's pulled down by Quenneville. Joel is going off for the penalty as Basson runs into Paul McDermott. And Bakoto wants a piece of the action. Robertson keeps him out of there. 9:58 to go in the third period, and the Whalers will be shorthanded when we come back.
All right there. I don't want to be prejudiced or biased or anything like that. And I'm sure there's times where you could have called it a hold, but you know, Joe did his best not to hold him. Didn't work out.
We said the Islanders haven't had a power play for a long time. Here's the shot by Diddick, and it's wide. Maybe that had something to do with it. I don't know. Bill's a pretty good official, but that's the way those calls go sometimes.
You're suggesting something, Rick.
Peterson clears it.
Just because they haven't had a penalty call in a couple periods.
It's because it's been 6 weeks since the Islanders haven't had a power play. Here's Lauer. Starts it in. Gives it to Sutter. Lauer chips it back between the point men, and the Islanders have to get back on side. This is their third chance, and they have not done much with their first 2 opportunities. We got a whistle for an offside. Well, let's get to our ground round trivia question. Jerry, this certainly is one that is of interest to you. What current National Hockey League general managers and head coaches are former goaltenders?
Well, then there's I don't know.
Members of the frat. Know their brothers, right? I mean, you can name those guys right away. Question once again, what current NHL GMs and head coaches are former goaltenders? And the number to call is 525-6045.
Rick, we should mention also that we haven't seen Lindsey Carson. And I'm sure it's a result of that fall into the boards at the start of the game. Hopefully he'll be all right.
He skated, of course, quite a bit in the first period after that, but apparently, well, perhaps anyway, the knee stiffened up on him. He seemed to jam his left leg into the boards 17 seconds into the start of the game.
If it's anything, Rick, I just hope that it's a bruise, and that's what I kind of feel. But then again, I don't have a degree in anything.
Randy Ladouceur.
I'm trying to think of that trivia question.
Well,
because there's a lot of brilliant goaltenders in life.
Yeah, you've earned your doctorate in goaltending.
Yeah. That was from a hockey school.
8:50 to go, third period. Whalers killing a penalty. 49 seconds to go in the Quenneville call. The pass gets through and all the way to Weeks. He keeps it away from the tricky LaFontaine. Trottier showing his strength. Running into Ladouceur, but the Whalers clear it. Rudy gets some help from Thomas Janssen. 30 seconds remaining on the call to Quenneville as Makela stick handles through. Back to LaFontaine. He looked for Trottier, and the pass was behind him.
LaFontaine knew where Trottier was too. He must have eyes in the back of his head.
Fontaine certainly doesn't miss much, and now that he's been healthy the last couple of years, he's really put his game together. Dineen slashed Janssen's stick out of his hands as the Quenneville penalty expires. The Whalers are at full strength, but it's 2-on-1. LaFontaine to Trottier, and it's just off the end of his stick as he let the shot go just wide. Dineen steals the pass. Tries to get around Finley. Can't get a shot away. Sheehy drills it in deep. It's moved around to LaFontaine. 7:25 remaining here in the third with the Islanders in front 2-0. And it's sailed down the ice. Cote is back. And we'll get an icing call against the Islanders. And we're told by our producer Jimmy Edmonds that we have a winner on the quiz. So hold those calls until Whaler wrap-up coming up after the game, brought to you by the Ground Round and the Hartford Insurance Group. And we want to add that Herb Goldfarb on Whalers wrap-up, Jerry, is going to have the first of a 4-part series in talking with Emil Francis in the state of the Whalers. Tonight's subject, the coaching change involving this man, Larry Plow.
I'm sure that Emil will have a lot of good things to say about Larry and Jack Evans. Rick, anyway, I want to tell you the story about the boards. We saw in the second period where the puck come off the boards and past Kelly Rudy, and I'll tell you a little later.
We're getting there.
Okay, we're going to get an icing right here, so I'll have a chance to tell you.
Go right ahead.
Oh,
well,
no.
We will keep the suspense going a bit further. 7:08 remaining in the...
Jim Bohine. What's his name?
Behind?
Bohine. Oh,
No, that's Aldamato, isn't it?
Yeah. Who's Aldamato?
It's, I don't know what he is now. He used to be a state legislator. State senator.
Well, Rick, this story I'm going to tell you anyway, and I'm sure the people are dying to hear it. I'll go ahead. I'll tell later.
The Islanders control the faceoff as Potvin couldn't get it by Sylvain Cote. Anderson bumps with Brent Sutter. Cote is tied up by King, and so the Whalers will have to chase back for that loose puck with under 7 minutes to go here in regulation time. The Whalers trailing 2-0. Sutter leaves it for King. Plays it into Lauer. Out to the point to Potvin. Takes the drive. Saved by Weeks. The rebound is lifted wide by King. Perhaps Steve got a piece of that. I don't know, but it was through several players.
Weeks worked hard to get a look at the Potvin shot. Made a good save in that.
Bassett is checked by Evison. The Whalers pick it up. It's Joel Quenneville. Rudy fires it off the glass. It hits Tippett. Henry plays it toward the Whalers zone, and Samuelson knocks it down. He wrestles with Bassett. Kerr checked by Tippett. Dale Henry centers. Bob Bassett leaves it for Henry. Kerr picks it up. Kerr gets away, takes the shot. It's blocked by Evison. Henry can't tee it up against Samuelson. Dale Henry wrapped up by Samuelson. Kerr controls the puck. Finally, Tippett catches up to him, and Evison works it away. 5.5 remaining third period. Janssen slaps it in.
You know, Kerr sometimes shows you a little Mike Bossy in those corners, trying to get to his forehand coming out of the right of the net.
Steve Conroy can't dump it in. Lauer stick handles into the zone. Makela with a tricky move. Didick puts it in the skates of Trottier. Francis gets it away. Here's Gavin over to McDermott. Takes the shot. Stick save by Rudy. Lauer gets it back ahead for Makela. 3-on-2. Back to Lauer. Shooting, and he blasted wide. Cote works it on right wing to McDermott.
I think if that was on the net, Rick, it was in. This was a great play. Good speed the Islanders had in attacking the Whalers, but the Islanders are going to take a penalty now.
Gavin was hauled down by Didick, and we'll be back with a Whaler power play with Hartford trailing 2-0 after this.
Whalers.
Kerry Wilson out there with John Anderson and Deneen up front. Samuelson and Francis are the point men. Sutter battles Wilson on that draw. Francis gets it back to Kerry Wilson in front. Deflected by Deneen. A stop by Kelly Rudy, and he lands on the loose puck to get the whistle.
Games against the Nordiques, where Kevin, he was just awesome in front of the net. That's where he has to be, because he's as tough as they come there.
And against Hextall in that game in October against the Flyers, and this past Monday until he had to leave the game after being slashed in the back of the leg by Hextall.
What did he say after that? We'll be playing against each other an awful long time.
That's right. We've got 2 long careers against each other. 1.5 minutes remaining on the Didick penalty for holding. 4:10 remaining regulation time. The Whalers down by 2, and Anderson has room to stride into the zone. Has a step on Conroy. Drops it back to Samuelson. Wilson over to Francis. Kevin Deneen takes the shot, and it's deflected. It comes back to Samuelson, and Conroy sends it down the ice. Weeks moves it ahead quickly as the Islanders change up shorthanded. Francis stick handles through, tripped up by Sutter, and it's driven by Potvin back to the neutral zone. Ken Leiter back for the puck. Deneen waiting to steal. Brent Sutter tries to work it away. Leiter can't get it by Cote, but the Islanders deflect it ahead. Here's Kerr, 2-on-1. Cote hustles back to even it out, and he plants Kerr into the boards. Sutter kills some more clock. 25 seconds remaining in the Whaler power play opportunity. Ulf Samuelsson with a pass. It's intercepted by Makela. He's held up by Cote. Turgeon with just 11 seconds to go in the call. He's double teamed. Conroy scoops it up. And the Islanders drill it right into their own bench. Mikko Makela lost a few friends in driving it out of play as the penalty expires with 2:43 remaining in the third period.
Well, he might have lost a few friends, Makela, but he won a few friends with the way he killed the penalty. He did a good job. Now I'm going to tell you this story. A very critical time in the Islanders franchise. They're down 3-2 with just over a minute left against Pittsburgh in a deciding quarterfinal playoff game. They had developed this team, Bossy, Trottier, Pot Van Smith, whoever, and they go on and win that game. If they did not win that game, I'm positive there's going to be major changes in the organization because they touted them as a potential Stanley Cup team. They would have been out for the third straight year. But anyway, the puck bounced over Randy Carlyle, a Norris Trophy winner's stick, right to Tonelli, tied it up. They won in overtime, the fifth game of best 3 out of 5. They went on to win the Stanley Cup. But if it didn't take that crazy bounce, I still think they would have made major changes and wouldn't have had the dynasty they had. That's the story.
They should have a plaque on that corner board. They do not here at the Nassau Coliseum, but perhaps they should. So we get a whistle for offside as we look at Alan Kerr with 2 goals in this hockey game.
I think that story was worth waiting for now that I think of it.
So. What a buildup. The Whalers hope they're building up to a little late offensive burst against Kelly Rudy and company.
Well, we have deuces are wild, 2-0, and it's 2:22 left in the period.
Quenneville gets rid of the puck to Kerry Wilson. Wilson backhands it in. Jeff Finley, who's played pretty well on the Islander defense, a 20-year-old with a pass to Wood. Sends it ahead. LaFontaine's onside. He shoots. He scores.
This is a 2-on-1, but you can't fault the Whaler defense. They have to try and stay in, trailing by 2 goals with 2 minutes left. I think Pat LaFontaine, who you would think is a goaltender, passes about 90% of the time. You'll see LaFontaine takes the pass. He looks, but he's going to shoot. And I think that Joel Quenneville deflected this, and that's why it beat Weeks. But Weeks, as a goaltender, has got to believe that LaFontaine will pass. Well, you see that did drop a little bit after it hit Quenneville's stick. But Pat LaFontaine, very close to a superstar, a guy that comes and plays every night. And there's no question that the line of LaFontaine, Wood, and Kerr did the damage this evening. Also, Kelly Rudy had a little bit to do with it.
Now the Whalers have put 28 shots at Rudy, and he's threatening to post his second shutout of the year and his 5th of his career. LaFontaine with his 37th from Wood and Finley at 17:59 as the puck sails out of play. LaFontaine has a goal and an assist. Kerr 2 goals. Wood 3 assists, and Finley 2 assists.
Lieutenant Columbo investigating the crimes of the rich and famous through Los Angeles. Join your favorite Rumple detectives and his classic adventurers, not to mention his classic raincoat, Wednesdays and Fridays at 8, only in WHCT, Channel 18.
3-0 Islanders, 1:40 remaining in the third period. Dale Henry, spun around by Francis, still gets it into the zone. Weeks leaves it for Samuelsson. Gavin puts it on Ronnie Francis' stick. Cuts around a Deneen pick on his backhand, and the net is moved away as Gavin collided with Brent Sutter in the goal mouth, and Sutter made sure that he took the net with him to get the stoppage in play with 1:21 remaining. Well,
Beck is an underrated player.
I won't disagree with you. As Cote with a shot, saved by Rudy. Tippett puts it back to Turgeon. Turgeon shoots, and it hit Tippett and deflects over top of the goal. Kerr stick handles out with 1:07 remaining. And Weeks leaves it for Cote. The Islanders get it back, and Potvin drives it in. These teams meet in Hartford tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. Their special Sunday night starting time. That'll wrap up the regular season series. Whalers will be hosting the Boston Bruins on Tuesday night at 7:30. And visiting the Bruins Thursday night. That'll be our next Channel 18 telecast. Kerr out of that corner on the backhand. Weeks with a stop, and he covers it. Alan Kerr with a pretty good try for that third goal.
For the chapeau. The more I watch this Alan Kerr, more and more he keeps reminding me of Bossy. He's got a long way to go to be a Mike Bossy, obviously, but he comes out of that both corners like Bossy does, and he's got that backhand, and he got it up quickly, and both his goals were pretty good releases. And Bossy beat you with that quick release. Yeah, not bad, Alan Kerr.
He's come a long way. 31 seconds remaining. Steve Weeks, who had won his last two decisions by 4-2 scores, is on the short end of this one.
Rick, you certainly can't blame Steve Weeks. I mean, the goals clearly beat him. He didn't have a chance in any of them, I don't think. And he was not the difference in this game. If there was a goaltender who was the difference, it's certainly Kelly Rudy.
Trottier in the faceoff has to carry it through. Dale Henry gives it to Makela. Robertson takes it. 19 seconds remaining. Diddick backhands it in. Weeks comes out to play it. Robertson spins Kerr around. Wilson with a long drive, fended off by Rudy. And that's the last save he has to make in earning his second shutout of the year and his fifth of his NHL career. He stops 29 Whalers shots, and the New York Islanders beat the Hartford Whalers tonight by the score of 3-0. Jerry and I will return to wrap it up in just a moment.
Hartford 8, the Islanders 13. Total score of the game, the Whalers 29, the Islanders 28. Tonight's Islanders player of the game is Kelly Rudy. For his superb effort, Kelly will receive dinner for two at Caminaries on Buckram Road in Locust Valley. The Islanders' next game is tomorrow evening in Hartford. That game will be broadcast on WOR Radio and telecast on Sports Channel.
Thank you.
The next home game is this Tuesday, February 23rd.
All right, one comment, I guess. What do you want to talk about?
Face-off time here at the Coliseum is 8:05. Thank you for coming this evening, everyone. And please ride home safely.
I don't know what I'll say.
I'm just going to give the record.
Two hours and a half right on the button. Not bad.
Pretty good.
First time the Islanders beat the Whalers since I've been, the 2 years I've been here.
They won 4-2 last year. That one.
Who, the Islanders?
Yeah. They split the two games.
Oh, they did?
The Whalers' record falls to 25-27-7. They hold at 57 points. They'll remain 4 points behind the idle Buffalo Sabres. And the Islanders now move into a temporary tie for second in the Patrick division that changes by the minute with the Washington Capitals. Jerry, as far as tonight's game was concerned, the Whalers didn't play a bad game, but they're beaten 3-0. And Kelly Rudy, as you mentioned, is the guy who makes the difference.
Rick, yeah, I wouldn't be discouraged if I were the Whalers. You know, they played a decent game, like you say, not a bad game. Maybe not good enough to win, and maybe if Rudy wasn't so good, they had a chance to win. But you have to expect that on, you know, in this hockey time. I think they have to create more scoring opportunities, more quality scoring opportunities. I don't think they had enough quality opportunities, but they shouldn't be discouraged. You know, they get a crack at the Islanders tomorrow night, and that's one of the luxuries of having a home-and-home series. I mean, they should be mad at the Islanders, and they should play a real good game tomorrow night. And, you know, maybe if they didn't play him for a month, they would have forgot about this. But they go right back to it in 48 hours, or 24 hours, I should say, and they got a good opportunity. I wouldn't be discouraged. I feel positive. They did a lot of good things tonight. They weren't awful at all.
Okay, well, the Whalers will meet the Islanders tomorrow at the Civic Center at 7 o'clock. And that is a game that will be carried on Sports Channel. And we'll be back with our game against the Bruins on Thursday night here in Channel 18. Once again, our final score, the New York Islanders 3 and the Hartford Whalers 0. Be sure to be with us Thursday at 7:30 when the Whalers and the Bruins renew acquaintances. Stay tuned next for Whalers Wrap-Up, brought to you by the Hartford Insurance Group and the Ground Round. Once again, our
ICENET. Dynasties live here.
You will always get the very best coverage tailored for your needs. We understand living on Long Island because we do too. We're all Islanders, and if you want Long Island's best team for insurance, go for National Security Brokerage. You'll feel secure with National Security Brokerage. Let's go Islanders!